Hello, my lovely viewers. Welcome again to Mathematics and I. It is your presenter Jefferson, and today we are still on the topic simplification of standard forms. Today we shall be looking at more examples, more complex examples, and how we can, simplify and leave our answers in standard form. Now, remember in our last video we said when you leave your answer in standard form, it simply means leaving your decimal points after the first significant figure. And we said significant figures are figures that have values. Okay, and also we talked about how we can move our decimal points. We said when you move your decimal point to the right, you minus, and when you move your decimal point to the left, you add. So today we have three examples, and this example we shall be using to explain how we can simplify problems on standard form. Okay, without wasting time, let us begin. Now, number one says 63 times 10, okay, times 4.2 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. Okay, how do we solve problems like this? Now, I will start like this. I will begin this way. Whenever you are given a question like this to solve, the first thing that should come to your mind is to remove the decimal points totally from the question. Remove the decimal points totally from the question, to make it more easier, because some students find it difficult to solve problems with decimal points. Now, you will notice that I don't have a problem with this first guy here because there is no decimal point here. But I have a problem with this because we have 4.2. So the first thing we're going to do is to remove the decimal point. And how do we remove the decimal point? By taking it out, to the back of 2. Now, when I take it here, it means my point has moved to the right. Remember we said when your point moves to the right, what do? You subtract, you minus. So how many times did my point move? Once. Now that one I'll have to minus from minus 2. So automatically it becomes 63 times 10 raised to the power 4 times, now the point is no longer here, it becomes 42 times 10 raised to the power minus 2 minus the 1. How did I get this minus 1? The 1 times that my point moved. Okay, so automatically we have this 63 times 10 raised to the power 4 times 42 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. How did I get negative 3? Minus 2 minus 1 gives us minus 3. Okay, now you will notice that in this question now, there is no more decimal point. Now what do? Number multiply number. Base 10 multiply base 10. It's as simple as that. Now grouping them in pairs, we have this. The first number here is 63 times, my next number here is 42, close your bracket, okay, times, in the next bracket, what do we have here? 10 raised to the power of 4 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Okay, now after grouping in pairs, what do we do next? Now we multiply. Now when we multiply 63 times 42, we are going to get 2,646. Now we have 2,646 times. Now you will notice in this bracket, we are going to use laws of indices. Now in laws of indices, we said that when the bases are the same, what do? You pick one of the base. Now when you are timesing, times becomes addition. When you are dividing, division becomes subtraction. So what do I have here? Here becomes 4. Now times becomes plus. Now what do I have here? Negative 3. Okay, now without wasting time, I continue like this. 2646 times 10 raised to the power of 4. Class, there is no way I can have two signs between two numbers. So what do? Plus times minus gives us minus. Now what do I have here? 3. So class, here becomes 2646 times 10 raised to the power of 1. Because why? 4 minus 3 gives us 1. But class, this is not standard form. This is not how you leave your answer in standard form. Remember we said, when you leave your final answer, your decimal points must be after the first significant figure. Now class, what is our first significant figure here? 2. But where is our decimal point? Outside. So what do? I have to bring it in. So how many times will the decimal point moves for it to get to 2? I move 1, 2, 3. 3 times. Now remember, I'm counting the decimal point to the left. So it becomes 2.646 times 10 raised to the power of 1 plus 3. Now why did I add 3? Why did I add? Because I counted to the left. Why did I put 3? Because I counted 3 times. So the final answer becomes 2.646 times 10 raised to the power of 4. This is the final answer in standard form. So class, you will see, this is the exact procedure you should follow when you are solving problems on standard form. Step 1, remove the decimal point. After removing the decimal points, create them in pairs. And after creating them in pairs, convert again and make sure your decimal point is located after the first significant figure. So class, without wasting time, let's go to question number 2 and see how it works. Okay, question number 2 says 0.5 times 10 raised to the power of 5 divided by 1.5 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. Okay, now the first example talks about multiplication, and then the second example talks about division. Now this doesn't matter at all. It doesn't. Now what did I say is the first step you do? Remove the point totally. There should be no point. Now it means my point has to come, my point has to come. Now if my point comes here, it becomes 5 times 10 raised to the power of 5 minus 1. Now why did I minus 1? Because my point moved 1 time to the right. So divided by, what do I have now? If my point leaves, it becomes 15 times 10 raised to the power of minus 2 minus 1. Because my point also moved 1 time to the right. So class, what do I have here? Here becomes 5 times 10 raised to the power of 4, 5 minus 1, divided by 15 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. So class, when you get to this position, what did I say you do? Group in pairs. In pairs. So class, here becomes 5 divided by 15 times, what's it here? 10 raised to the power of 4 divided by 10 raised to the power of negative 3. It's as simple as this. Okay, 5 over 15 times 10 raised to the power of 4, over 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Now what do? Now 5 divided by 15, 5 divided by 15 will give us 0.333333. So let's just pick 3 numbers after the decimal point. So we have 0.333, okay? Now times. Now you will notice that lots of indices again has to work here because the base here is 10 and the base here is also 10. And what are we doing? We are dividing. And I said when the bases are the same and we are dividing, division becomes subtraction. So what do? I'll pick one of the base. Sorry, it becomes 10. Now my first power is 4. Now division becomes minus. Now my other power is a negative 3. Okay, so what do I have? 0.333 times 10 raised to the power of minus times minus will give us plus. So what do I have? 4 plus 3. So finally I have 0.333 times 10 raised to the power of 7. But there is no way you can tell me that this answer is in standard form. No, it is not in standard form now because the decimal point is not after the first significant figure. And what's our first significant figure here? 3. So what happened? My point has to move 1. Now when my point moves once to the right, it becomes 3.33, okay, times 10 raised to the power of 7 minus 1. Now why did I minus 1? Because my point moved 1 time to the right. So the final answer becomes 3.33 times 10 raised to the power of 6. That is simply the answer. That is simply the answer to question number 2. Okay, and without wasting time, we're going to question number 3. Okay, question number 3. Question number 3. All right. Question number 3 says 0.02 times 10 raised to the power of 4 times 1.2 times 10 raised to the power of 3 all over 1.5 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Now, when you see a question like this, don't be frightened. No, it is the same procedure. Nothing changes. Nothing. And what did I say the first thing you do? Remove the decimal points totally. There should be no decimal points. Now, when we do this class, let's go. Now, my decimal point here has to move 2 times. And when that happens, here it comes 2 times 10 raised to the power of 4 minus 2. Always know that when your point moves to the right, you are subtracting. And when your point moves to the left, you are adding. Simple. Now here it comes times. If my point list becomes 12 times 10 raised to the power of 3 minus 1 all over. If my point list becomes 15 times 10 raised to the power of 3 minus 1. Okay, without wasting time, here becomes 2 times 10 raised to the power of 4 minus 2 gives us 2. Okay, times 12 times 10 raised to the power of 2 also 3 minus 1 over 15 times 10 raised to the power of 2 also 3 minus 1. Now you will notice that this is a fraction. Now this is a fraction. Now on top we have the numerators and down below we have the denominators. Now in the numerators we have two sets of numbers that is a form of standard form. So what do I have to do? I'll solve this on top, okay? Then before I solve the denominator. Let's do that now. Now solving what is on top, bringing the numbers on top in pair. Here it comes 2 times, what do I have here? 12, close your brackets, times, now bringing the tens in pairs also. 10 raised to the power 2 times 10 raised to the power 2, okay? All over, what do I have now? 15 times 10 also raised to the power of 2. Simple as this. Okay, now 2 times 12 gives us 24 times, now I pick one of the base, 10, and of course here becomes 2 plus 2 because times becomes addition all over, okay, 15 times 10 raised to the power of 2. So class, when we do this, let us do this way. When we do this, we are going to have something like this, okay? 24 times 10 raised to the power of 2 plus 2 gives us 4, okay? Over 15 times 10 raised to the power of 2. Okay, now you will notice that from two forms of standard form, we now have just one, on the numerator. So now that we have just one on the numerator, okay, so what does that mean? It means the number here we divide the number, okay, which is 24, okay, divided by 15, and that will give us 1.6. Okay, now times the base are the same. I'll pick one of the base. Now my first power is 4. Division becomes minus, and what do I have here? 2. So automatically I have 1.6 times 10. 4 minus 2 gives us 2. Now class, this answer is already in standard form because the decimal point is immediately after the first significant figures. And this is how we come to the end of today's class. We were able to solve 3 questions explaining standard form, and I believe you have learned something new today. So please, if this is the first time coming across our page, please don't forget to follow, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment, and also don't forget to share. So we'll meet again in our next video. God bless you.